Hey, gorgeous friends. Welcome to another episode of the Date Brazen podcast. I'm so glad that you're here. Today, I'm talking to Calie, who is an incredible human being and also a late bloomer who is feeling really, really big feelings about it. She has been on the apps for years and years, and it hasn't led to good outcomes. She feels really discouraged and burnt out. And so, we're going to coach on all of that. And by the end of the episode, you are going to be so surprised at what came up, what was underneath the surface, and where we got to. So I know that you're going to love this live coaching session with Calie as much as I did. And I got to let you know that this episode is brought to you by my book, Thank You More Please, a feminist guide to breaking dumb dating rules and finding love. In this episode, you are going to hear about Callie's experience in her dating life. And she also references that she read Thank You More Please, and it helped her with overcoming hopelessness, understanding dating apps and their toxic tech bro culture from a more feminist lens. It helps to create your essence-based preferences so you come at dating from a place of agency instead of taking a back seat with all your desires. You get to really own everything you want and start dating by being more picky and attracting better people than you thought possible as a result. So if you want to get your hands on my book, Thank You More Please, then go to datebrazen.com/book to get not only the book, everywhere books are sold. I also did the audiobook. You're going to love it. You can also get a very special bonus called the Dating Life Fix, which is my top 10 recommended podcast episodes from the over 200 podcast episode library of the Date Brazen podcast. And you're going to find my recommendations for like every single point that you're stuck at in your dating life. I outline 10 of them and give you 10 recommended podcasts to listen to fix those problems within that 20-minute episode. So you're going to love that bonus, and you're going to love the book, Thank You More Please. So again, go to datebrazen.com/book to get your hands on the book and get your special bonus. Now, let's get into the episode. Hello, gorgeous friends. Welcome to another episode of the Date Brazen podcast. Today is a very special live coaching session with Calie, who is here, and I am so excited to support you, Calie. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Hello. I'm great. I'm excited to be chatting with you, and by the end of this session, I can't wait to see what magic we co-create. Like I ask all the live coaching session folks, what is your brag about anything, celebration? What are you proud of? And then what is your intention for this session? What do you really want to get out of it?
Brag wise is probably just a bigger one for sort of the whole year. I feel like I have really been able to develop a little bit more, I'm going to say, discipline around the things that I want to accomplish or come to fruition in my life this year, and really be able to stick with some of the goals I've set in a way that still feels really balanced and sustainable. So I'm excited about that. Part of that obviously is being here, signing up for this podcast. And then my intention, I think it's really to listen maybe more than be thinking about my own responses, because I have a tendency to build a lot of narratives and be able to talk really pretty stories around why everything's not working. And I think it would be helpful sometimes to sort of like quiet that a little bit and really take in what I'm hearing and take in how I'm feeling more than be in my head.
Okay. So listen to your body more than
listen to my body. Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Am I getting that correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, great. Because you were saying, I want to listen. I was like, well, you're on this podcast to talk. So and to share where you're at. So, but I think that, you can, in this, hour together, you can really trust that I'm gonna like challenge you when I hear a pretty package on a like we're gonna get into it, so you can allow yourself to be supported in this hour as well.
Awesome.
So your application, you indicated there were two things that were like the question marks. There was some late bloomer anxiety, and creating your essence-based preferences, which I think like I could help you do that tactically till the day is long, and I can give you a resource for that. And we can talk about that. But I want to touch first on the late bloomer anxiety. Can you tell me a little bit about your dating life and where you're at, and how is late bloomer anxiety playing a role right now?
Yeah, I would say so I'm 29. I have never been in a, I've recently stopped trying to say I've never been in a relationship because I've definitely had relationships with people, but never anything serious where I've like called someone a boyfriend or a partner or anything like that. I would say my early 20s looked a lot like kind of I wouldn't say I was dating for a relationship. I had a lot of self-worth issues around kind of growing up in a bigger body, still being in a bigger body. I think my early 20s was a lot about me trying to prove to myself that men could find me attractive and all of
Mm,
my choices were sort of around that, and ended up putting myself in sort of a lot of situations that I just look back and feel kind of sad that I put myself in. And then around 25 is when I sort of switched to feeling like, okay, I think I really do want a relationship. I feel like in some ways I've proved to myself that, okay, yes, people can find me attractive. But then I sort of developed this other side around, or sort of this other story around, yes, people can find me attractive, but behind closed doors, not attractive enough that they would want
mm,
to actually be proud of dating me, or be in a
mm,
relationship with me. First year or so was me just really trying to figure out like that transition of what I was looking for. And then I had about 3 years in a row where I felt like I was making progress, but this past January, a little bit before I submitted my application, it had been the third year in a row where I realized that I had basically had to, break up with myself with somebody, with a
mm,
situationship that had lasted somewhere from, a 3 to 6 month period, just based on getting into these phases where things would look really good at the beginning for the first few weeks, and then as soon as there was like any level of like there might be some form of commitment or asking for something more, I would just start to get all those like pullback signs, have a couple months where I'm like trying to negotiate with myself, with the person, all that,
mm.
and then just sort of a third January in a row where it was like, all right, this isn't what I want. Yeah.
What was that like?
It's frustrating. It feels like Groundhog Day a lot.
Mm,
Um, it feels sometimes like I'm like making progress, but it's just tough when you don't have like external. Like I feel like I'm making progress internally about how I'm each time I enter kind of a new experience with someone, I do feel like I'm a different person, but just there's no outside progress yet that I'm seeing any results for. And then I feel like, so I kind of stopped dating in January for a little while, applied to the show, and then really was focusing on sort of another round. I feel like I always have rounds of like, I'm off the apps and I'm totally working on myself. And I read your
yeah.
book, went through all that, and I felt like so good. I was like, this time's gonna be so different. I'm so ready. And then I got back on the apps a week and a half ago, and like I'm trying so hard to it's like I'm really having a hard time finding my way through all of the fog that the apps cause in my mind back to some of the
Mm.
tools I was learning in the book. And I kind of feel like this is like the hardest round I've ever had on the apps. So
Why?
that's a sign of progress. Maybe I thought like because I felt different again that
Yeah.
the experience would be different. I feel like I just really, I don't know if this is true because I only know my own experience, but I just really feel like the energy from like people that I'm getting on the apps, it just feels like everyone doesn't want to be there. I do like pretty much every year that I go back into dating, I like gain weight every year. So I like kind of work on, okay, no, that's fine. That's not going to impact it, but I get less and less matches. And to me, in my mind, those end up being so connected. But I also know that I'm much better at making myself for the few and not for the many on the apps now. So it's so hard to know like what's the old stories and what are the new ones.
Yeah, this is like I literally we could take this in a bazillion different directions. You know, you mentioned in your application two core anxieties that you have been struggling with. So the struggling with self-trust around when to give someone a chance, you shared. And you stop dating men that treat you poorly, which is a great like fresh start. Like you deserve so much more, obviously, but you have found yourself in a pattern of attracting someone who becomes really squirrely around commitment. How
Yeah.
are you feeling right now? Doing your intention right now of dropping into your body.
Mm. Yeah, I'm feeling a little sadness come up, but I cry
Talk to
very,
me.
so I will definitely
Okay,
cry on this
that's
podcast.
okay.
Yeah, I feel like there is a lot of grief around this topic,
Yeah.
and I'm very aware of that, and I've tried really hard to spend a lot of time processing that grief, but I just think it's so deep. It's just going to take like years and years and years to not ever kind of to not have that grief feeling when really talking about it.
Mm, yeah. What does that grief feel like in your body? Like, where is it? We're just doing this thing called emotional granularity, which I talk about in the book. Thank you for reading it. Dr. Lisa Feldman Barrett coined this term to say that when you have more precise emotion words to describe your experience, you can more effectively move through that experience. So I want to challenge this idea that it may take years to not feel grief. Like, what if grief was a bodily function like poop that would always come up? Maybe you'd feel it daily, but what if it didn't have to mean
Mm-hmm.
everything?
Mm-hmm.
What if it
Yeah.
didn't have to define your experience? So let's take a step back. Where is it in your body?
Usually it's in my throat right now.
Okay. So I would just invite you to take a deep breath into your throat. And if it had a shape, what would that shape be?
Mm, probably a sphere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really common with grief and in the throat specifically, from what I've heard from doing this with a lot of people. What kind of sphere? What weight is it? What texture?
It's heavy, but it gets like lighter on the outside and softer on the outside, and maybe like a not not soft necessarily, but like a shimmery sort of texture.
Yeah. Okay. And then as you're noticing it, has it shifted at all since you've been noticing it?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's gotten um, maybe a little bit like lower and
Yeah.
less intense.
Yeah. What do you make of that?
Spending time with your physiological emotional responses could change them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think specifically when there's a feeling in the throat, specifically that ball or like block in the throat, from my anecdotal experience coaching so many people with this tool, knowing my own body, usually that signals that you've either said something that feels like really real and it feels like, oh, I just said that I don't want to say. It feels like a truth that you said that feels like I don't want that to be the case, or I said too much, or I said something so real and honest that it's scary. Or there's something that has yet to be said that you feel in your heart you want to say that you feel like a block is there to say. Do either of those resonate?
Yeah, probably a little bit of both. Maybe probably more the first one.
Tell me more about it. Like, what did you say that felt like, oh shit?
I don't know. I've talked about this a lot. Like I've done a lot of therapy around this topic, and I just have the same sort of, yeah, emotional reaction every time. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised sometimes that it does still feel so intense, but I think it's just, I do just think there's some like admitting how much grief there is around it. A lot of times I think is tied to me to maybe the idea that um, it feels like admitting it's hard. I don't believe this logically, but maybe in the moment I feel a little bit like it's hard to admit the grief while also still having like a hope and a positive attitude and having that sort of like mask of like this is gonna work out. I'm not
Mm,
bitter, you know.
yes. Okay, cool. So there we have a really common, understandable, really rich dynamic happening, which is that your brain really is struggling with holding two truths, which
Yeah.
it is wont to do. It is a human, silly little brain who just wants to be safe. And of course, like you're having the feeling and experience of grief. And it sounds like your brain is heaping a story on top of that, that it makes things even more hopeless, or you're admitting defeat in some way
Hmm.
by having this human emotion.
Yeah. Or I think maybe a little just bit of like shame too
Hey,
around
say more on that. What do you
it.
mean?
Yeah, I think there's just is a little bit of shame around the idea like, oh, it hasn't happened for me yet, so it must be a me issue. And I like so really believe that that's not true. And I have these times of life, like even before going onto the app, where I really like in my body believed that that wasn't true.
Yeah.
And then like I'm struggling a little bit this round to I've been able to hold on to it a little bit better in the past. I don't like this round of dating. I feel like, yeah, I am struggling to hold, like, find my way back to that, like, actually believing it feeling rather than just the
Yeah.
word.
Gotcha. So what I'm hearing is is really common in the image. I'm a very visual person. So the image that I'm getting is that previously you've been able to hold on to the reins of hope.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like you've been able to hold on to those reins while you ride in the dating world, and holding on to those reins of hope means something about you, that you're more powerful, or you're actually going to get what you want this time because you're able to hold on to those reins of hope. Does that resonate?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I guess I never thought about what it would mean that maybe I felt like it meant something about me to be able to, I guess, feel that way. I just sort of thought that was like for myself, the best thing was to, yeah, to be in a,
Hopeful.
yeah, and, or not even hopeful, like be able to connect to a calmer state, a calmer physiological state while dating.
Okay.
More so than
Okay.
hope, more like how can I keep returning to myself and not just
Okay.
get washed away in the rivers of the feelings. Not that like I'm struggling to maybe
I
explain.
think I'm going to this is going to be one of those moments where, and you can toss it on back if it doesn't resonate. I hear you trying to make something prettier.
Mm, maybe.
Maybe not. I don't know. But what I was getting at or thinking while you were sharing is that that's a lot of pressure on you to maintain the reins of calm physiological experience, access to hope. Now, it's good to feel good. I'm not saying it's not. It is a more fun state of being, for sure, for sure, for sure. But the thing about life is that it's 50-50,
Mm-hmm.
in the words of Brooke Castillo. And so I think that instead of thinking about dating as this experience where you got to hold on to the reins of, like, I mean, in essence, I hear the desire for perfection. And in order to feel better day to day, it's like, I want this experience I want to feel better in this. I want to feel better all the time about this. And when I don't feel better about this, then shame, isolation, hopelessness, circle of hell experience. I don't want that. So I'm just going to hold on to these reins. But what if we like let go of the reins, just using this imagery, and decided that your love life is a surf experience? Mm-hmm. And sometimes you're going to have experiences of riding a wave and feeling high as hell and like you're hot as hell and amazing. And sometimes you're going to have moments of crashing where grief comes up, where hard feelings come up, where you understandably are grieving for the experience that you wish that you had had already. You're understandably grieving living in a fat phobic world that treats women and people socialized as women in larger bodies like they're fucking less than. It's so fucked up. And you experience that living in a body dating that is a vulnerable experience on the whole, and then you throw in a marginalized identity or a marginalized body, and like there you go. It's very difficult. So what if your grief when you feel it was appropriate? And what if your job as a human being was to acknowledge and ride through those feelings with yourself?
Yeah, it's interesting because I didn't connect it to that, but I definitely know I have, like I did like an inner critic exercise at one point with another thing I was doing. And I feel like I have 3 around dating, and one of them is actually, I think I called it like the overachiever. And it was sort of like, I think the idea is like, I'm already starting at a deficit. So I have to be like the best possible version of myself in every way to be able to have a chance. And so I feel like, I guess I didn't realize that. I thought I was trying to take care of myself by making sure, and like I'm really not saying like the toxic positivity part. I have a lot of practices around like journaling and really and breathing into my emotions and all of that. Mm-hmm. But sometimes I feel like this past round it's been so past where I can't even necessarily access that part of myself. And so I thought it was an issue of I need to take care of myself better, but I didn't think necessarily about it being maybe another way of sort of telling myself that if you can't be like this all the time, where you like feel your emotions the right way,
yes,
the right way, then it's not going to work for you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's powerful. Yeah, I think that perfectionism just kind of snuck up in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
As it is wont to do, right? It's a protective mechanism. You want to be safe, and it is a vulnerable act dating. So let's talk about the spiral that you get into when you're on the app itself. So tell me about that, and like, let's figure it out. Yeah. What thoughts are you having?
I'm trying to think if I'm even having thoughts. I just feel like I'm just having feelings.
So there's a circumstance, the sky is blue. Mm-hmm. It's a neutral like fact of the matter. It's the sky is blue. I could have many different thoughts about the sky is blue that I choose based on my emotional experience. Thoughts are sentences in your brain that are emotional interpretations of the world around you. I could look outside and be like, oh my God, what a beautiful day. I'm so grateful the sky is blue. That thought, which feels true to me, then triggers a feeling, gratitude, excitement, hope, possibility. Then I take actions in my day based on the thought I had and the feeling that I have based on the thought. So actions could be, I go on a walk, smile more, or I share in every meeting that I have, oh my God, this day is so beautiful, whatever, the actions come. And then the result is I feel more satisfaction in my day. Mm-hmm. That's the result. Versus if I'm in a harder place, or I'm in a place where I'm like, oh, I really just want to, the sky is blue. I I just want to nap today. I'm so tired. Like, I wish that it was actually a cloudy, rainy day. That thought might trigger a feeling of like disappointment. And then that might trigger actions like I lay in bed all day, or I work and I resent it all day because all I want to do is like just take a nap. And then that creates a result of having a worse day than I could, right? And these things just happen. It's like life, you know? But what I'm hearing is that you have the circumstance of being on a dating app.
Mm-hmm.
You are having thoughts about the stimuli of being on a dating app. Maybe the circumstance is I didn't get a match today. That's a neutral fact sometimes. Then your thought about that is fill in the blank. Your feeling is shame or hopelessness or disappointment, disgust, discouragement, something. And then your actions are responding to your thought and feeling. And your actions might be I overwork. I try to prove that thought wrong, and so I like go and swipe more and try and like message more and try to push through. Or it could be shutting all of it down and getting in a download delete cycle. The result is you feel less in control of your experience and you're having a really hard time. So thoughts or emotional interpretations of the world around you, they trigger feelings. Now, I think in dating this works pretty well. With things like where this doesn't work is things like racism. The circumstance of somebody was racist. You can't choose new thoughts about you don't have to choose new thoughts about that. That can just be terrible, awful, needs to change, right? But we're talking about something that is more within your control, which is building a new neural pathway about your dating life potentially, acknowledging the current one. So say what's coming up for you around me explaining this.
Yeah, I definitely have thoughts when I'm trying to access them because I think I try and shut them down really quickly.
So tell me your thoughts about the dating experience on an app.
Definitely,
or yourself on an app.
I feel like this most recent time, I feel like it's been a lot of, okay, I'm not getting any matches I'm particularly excited about is one thought, but like, okay, maybe if the conversation's good or they seem really interested, then you never know till you meet them.
Okay. We're gonna get into this. Yeah. You never know. Yeah. Anything else?
And then like if they pull back, like I had to, this is not normal for me, but I had like 2 dates set up this week and both of them canceled. I don't normally, like, I don't feel like the hardest part of it for me is usually the getting to date one part. I feel like it's usually the after date one part. But this time around, it feels like the getting to date one, I feel like, and then I think the thought that it's triggering is like, I must be less desirable this time around, or people on apps are more exhausted by this whole thing, so this isn't going to work. I should delete them, but I'm not going to delete them because I think this is like a big thing is I just feel like I have to be on the apps in order to meet someone, even though I don't want to believe that that's true. I do, like, deep down, I do believe that's true, while my head knows it's not.
Yeah. Okay. Great raw material that we're going to work with. So I want to start with the dating apps are they necessary piece. You read my book. I talk a lot about dating apps and how they're a fiery hellscape and they're not the answer to anything. They're just a little silly little tool. The multi-million-dollar I know your age, you shared at the top, so I know about the year that you were growing up and how deeply marketing messages around thinness. I mean, for me too, in a different era moment, like those marketing messages around thinness really fucked me up, as they did, most everyone, if not everyone. Marketing affects us, especially mass marketing on a national, if not global scale. It affects us. The messages that we perceive unconsciously, consciously affect us. So why wouldn't it be the same with that? Like, if you think about how much marketing has affected how you feel about your body, how I feel about my body, Why wouldn't the same be true for a dating app that has a multi-million dollar, they are multi-billion dollar corporations that own these dating apps that have giant marketing budgets, that their job is to convince users that you need to be on a dating app to be trying.
Yeah, and I think it's really tied also to like the time of my life and like my history with dating apps. I was 19 when I was on the first time I was on a dating app, so
Yeah.
I've used them my
Yeah.
entire dating life. And I think being in a bigger body, like in high school, getting kind of no romantic attention, and in college too, and then I get on the apps and I like feel so desirable. Like I feel like I'm getting so
Yeah.
many swipes. I think it really started to create this dynamic in my head. It's like, oh, people might be attracted to me, but they're maybe not willing to show it in public. So I have to be in this place that like allows people to feel safe enough to like say that, like show that they like me.
Yeah. That
And I think,
sucks.
yeah, yeah.
And with other, I went on the Swipe Fat podcast with Nikki and Alex. I don't know if you're familiar with them. They talked a lot about this in their experience of being kept a secret by dates, and that is a reality with some people who are absolutely wrong for you. But of course that can be a traumatic experience.
Yeah.
And it's understandable. It doesn't mean that it's over and nobody exists that is right for you. It just means that like both and that sucks.
Yeah.
And of course your brain would make that correlation and then practice the thought in order to keep you safe in the future. So moving, like, really, what might self-compassion say to you in this moment? Can you access that, or do you need a little help?
I think it would say that the experiences that you've had have been really challenging and have caused a lot of grief. Yeah, you've lived in a world that, while you're fighting really, really, really hard to believe something different, is constantly telling you to believe this one thing about you.
Mm.
Yeah, you know it's not true, but it's really, really hard to hear past what everyone else is indirectly telling you.
Mm-hmm. That is really hard. And everybody struggles with it. Everybody. In different ways, of course. Different levels of privilege, but like you're not alone. So you're not alone. 3 tenets of self-compassion is defined by Dr. Kristen F. By the way, beautiful job. How did it feel to offer yourself that?
Good.
Yeah, good. So the 3 tenets of self-compassion, and this for everybody listening, as defined by Dr. Kristen Neff: kindness over judgment. So that's like, this is really hard. Of course I'm struggling. Like offering yourself a reality check, not in a doom and gloom way of like, everything sucks, it's all over because this is hard. No, this is a hard human experience. And it makes sense. Of course, right? Like your best friend being like, you're share, when, I don't know if you have this experience, but I do, when I share, I'm kind of struggling, but I'm okay, but I'm really struggling. And I share my context with my best friend, and she's like, no. It actually makes sense why you're feeling this way. It's like, oh, what a relief. That validation. Then common humanity over isolation. So you're not alone. Like picturing yourself in the collective of people who have this experience, and that you're not alone in feeling this way. Finally, mindfulness over identification. So identifying like, wow, my brain is having a lot of kooky thoughts, a lot of really intense, hard thoughts about this. And it's possible those are thoughts, not facts. So,
Yeah.
do you want to take a deep breath before we move on to the next, or what, you were going to say something?
I was just gonna say, I feel like it's that last part that, like, this time around more than other times, and the perfectionism is coming in, but like that's the part I'm just really struggling to hold on to. I keep telling myself like these are facts, not feelings.
Feelings, not facts.
Yes. Feelings, not facts. But I think I just feel really underwater in the feelings, and so it's been harder to like. I'm saying it, but it's not like I'm saying it, but it's not reaching.
Yeah. Okay.
For recently.
So I think that's a sign that there's just like a deeper permission you need to give yourself to have a moment.
Yeah. Okay.
that you don't have to be okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I do feel like I've been sitting down and like kind of want to journal about it, and I'm just like, I'm so sick of journaling. Like
Yeah.
feelings or like breathing into the like, can't I just be
I
done
hear I
living?
hear anger.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Like what if you just like allowed yourself to be pissed?
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. I am very angry.
Yeah. Makes sense. What does that anger feel like?
Like physically or
I don't know, whatever comes up for you. No
uh,
perfect way to do this.
it feels a lot like, why do I have to do all of this
Hmm.
work to be like so ready for something, for someone, like why do I have to do all of this work for someone to just give me a chance when like I don't like going into this mind space because I don't think it serves me, but like when all of these fucking men don't get to just like, and I know this isn't true, but like float through their dating experience for just when they're like absolutely perfectly ready and something just hits them over the head and it's like, oh well, I just will have to be like, I don't know. I feel like women are always told that they're the romantic ones and the delusional ones, but I feel like I'm constantly tempering that and find myself surrounded by like, or all the single men I feel like I'm interacting with are just like, oh well, I don't have to put in any effort. It'll just like happen for me when it happens, and if it's not perfect, then I don't want, like, I don't know. It feels like they're the delusional ones sometimes around what it
Yeah.
actually takes to have a relationship where you have to, 1% of the time not do exactly what you want to do in that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I guess I get a
Mm-hmm.
little bit angry.
Yeah. I hear that, and your feelings are valid. My
And
friend
I think
Megan Saxelby says your feelings are your feelings and you get to have them.
yeah. Yeah, I'm feeling a big need to like asterisk that. Like I know that that's not a
I
hundred.
do, you don't have to I'm gonna do my job. You don't have to, you don't have to I'm just like, I think that this is a great model of a moment where like you get to have your big feeling. Like you get to fucking have your big feelings and
Yeah.
acknowledge the anger that you feel, acknowledge the like lack of society treats single women as behind coupled women. That sucks. They do not treat single men the same as compared to coupled men. We can draw that. That's a totally totally fine conclusion to draw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would agree.
And I also think that the patriarchy's fucked all of us over,
Mm-hmm.
and that there are a lot of men who are wrong for you, who you have been interacting with, who suck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All of those things I'm incredibly comfortable saying.
Me too.
Great. How are you feeling now? Checking in, doing your original intention, dropping in.
Mm. I think I'm feeling a little bit uh vulnerable.
Mm.
Yeah, I think I don't love to show the anger part,
Mm-hmm.
because I think I'm worried that like if I come across as like angry, then it will be confirmatory that like I must be the problem.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, so that's actually the problem here.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you feel stuck. One of the reasons. That's why you feel stuck. Do you hear it?
Not yet.
Okay. So that one feeling of anger
Mm-hmm.
that has been happening, you have been choosing to avoid or put in a closet or go go take a walk anger because I can't be angry because then I'll be an old shrew who nobody wants to be with. That's fucking patriarchal socialization right there. Misogyny 101. internalized misogyny, that you can't feel anger in order to be attractive.
Yeah.
Do you want to get a tissue?
Yeah.
Yeah, go get one. You ready to keep going?
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Good. Good.
Yeah. What's coming up?
Um, yeah, I don't think I maybe fully realized. I think I've spent a lot of time working on like the sadness part of it.
Yep. Yep.
I do think I've been ignoring the anger part of it.
Yep.
And I don't really know, like, um, I guess I don't feel like I know as much what to do with the feeling of anger.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. This is
yeah.
actually, not to be hyperbolic, I really do think this is a turning point for you in general. Because, by the way, if you were in right now the most loving partnership, you would be doing this fucking work of allowing anger. This is life shit. It's not like I have to do all of this heavy work in order to be worthy of a relationship to be chosen.
Yeah.
The relationship just hasn't happened for you yet.
Mm-hmm.
You have an opportunity right now to create more wholeness and integration with yourself for yourself, so that when the relationship does come along, you are a fucking planted tree
Mm-hmm.
who feels just like so full of yourself in a great way. And you're ready to embark on that adventure when it comes. You're ready now. You've been ready. But I think that this is like life work that you are gonna you would have to do anyway, no matter where you fucking were. Does that make sense?
It's work I see my my mom doing right now
There you go.
at like in her 60s.
You're coming to this so early,
Yeah.
and you are going to be served so well. It might even impact the partner that you choose.
Mm-hmm.
Allowing anger.
Yeah.
Because I like to say, like, I don't care about you finding a dusty, crusty relationship. I want you to find the best relationship of your life where you feel like you are 100% chosen and you 100% choose them. And there's no like feeling that you're not willing to feel to be with yourself. And that creates deeper intimacy with yourself to create safety ultimately in every relationship in your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
It does. It does. I'm feeling like it makes a lot of sense. I'm also feeling like maybe confused around like how I'm I guess a little bit how and
Okay.
a little like I think the feeling of if I feel that anger, how do I like actually express that in a way? Like I feel like I have anger about all of these different experiences over 10 years. And
Yeah.
how do I not put that on one person who I barely know, who like maybe really hasn't even done anything and maybe is a
Yeah.
total, you
You
know?
start to like rage journal or like scream into a pillow when it feels authentic. Literally stomping your feet and shaking your arms, physically have a tantrum for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. Be like, this fucking sucks. I hate this in my journal, instead of trying to keep it buttoned up in case somebody someday reads this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Like,
interesting. I definitely,
why?
I think I definitely do that. Even when I'm journaling, it's not for like I
Me
really
too.
anyone else, but I have to like put that cherry on like, but I know blah 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 blah, and it'll all work out.
No, I totally, totally resonate with this. And something that I've practiced doing is literally just journaling like, I'm having a hard day. I do not feel good about anything. I hate how I feel right now. I don't like, and like literally putting the journal away, literally
Yeah.
like ending it. It doesn't have to be wrapped up in a bow. And I really struggle with things being wrapped up in a bow because I have the thought like that makes me more moving forward than not. Like with therapy, my therapist has to be like, Lily, we don't have to wrap the session in a lesson. We're in the process. And I'm like, fuck you. I hate this, but that's okay. So, in terms of how to process anger, you're just learning how to. And I gave you some menu options. Like sprinting can be like if that feels available, or like literally stomping again, screaming into a pillow, thrashing
Mhm.
around, laying in your bed and literally being like, duh, like your body needs to close that stress cycle. And I think what will happen as you allow it is that it will start to transform and shift and move through your body instead of being like constipated.
Yeah. Okay. I'm liking this. I feel more energized already. What the heck do I do with like do I feel like both versions I'm sick of. I'm sick of, okay, well I just need to push through on the app while I'm
Yeah.
doing all this. And I'm also sick of, well, I need to delete the app and come back
Yeah.
later. I'm sick of both options. What do
Yeah.
I do?
So, number one, you need to up your standards for connection. No more like you never know
Okay.
until you meet them. No more of that. No, no, no. What? What's your face? What's happening?
Ugh, that's I can't do that.
Okay. Well, so you're asking how. I'm giving this is really
No,
concrete.
yeah, I believe you.
So, are you a musical theater
Hell,
lover like me?
hell yeah.
Nothing comes from nothing, nothing ever could. So, Sound of Music, somewhere in my youth or childhood. So, I think nothing comes from nothing. If you're getting nothing from a profile, if you're getting nothing from messaging, then no, nothing comes from nothing. So, bless and release.
It's not nothing. It's like not 100%. It's
Do you
like
feel
maybe.
curiosity? Do you feel curiosity? Like, oh, I want to learn more.
See, I would say yes, but then you said it in that way, and I don't feel. Oh, I want to learn more. I
Oh,
feel
I want to learn more. Then it's nothing.
okay.
Then it's nothing.
Okay.
Then it's
I feel
somebody
like
that you don't need to
I
meet.
could learn more.
It's like if you were on Bumble BFF looking for friends and you're like, you seem nice. I'll go on a friend date with you with literally no interesting topic of conversation that was interesting to you that came up before you met up. It's like think about it like you have enough friends, I would imagine you would say, or maybe you want to make more friends, but you have a like I need to feel some level of connection before we meet up if you're doing Bumble BFF. Let's apply the same standard to your love life.
Okay.
You need to have curiosity that sounds something like, I want to learn more. Kind of a little bit of a leaning forward. It doesn't have to be like I'm sold on this person 100%. It just has to be curiosity.
Yes, I agree. Logically.
But
Yes.
what? But
That's just us. I think then I struggle with like when I have those moments where it's like it is a lean forward, I want to learn more. Then I feel like I really latch on to them
yeah.
too much, and sometimes having the mediums help me like temper, but maybe that's not true. I don't know. In my head, I get in my head sometimes because I've had experiences where it's been like and then like I meet them and I really like them, but obviously it wasn't the person.
I believe the universe is taking care of you. So if you meet somebody on a dating app and you're like, no curiosity, bless and release, you'll meet them IRL. Like, or you'll meet somebody else who is amazing for you. There's not one person. And so I don't want you to get in the land of maybes and be caught up in that's one of the reasons why dating apps are so exhausting is that you're trying to make something work for fear that nothing exists. And I think that what you can see from your own experience is that, okay, there are people with whom I connect.
Mm-hmm.
That has happened before. There are people that I'm attracted to who are attracted to me. What hasn't happened yet is mutual long-term intention.
Yeah.
I'm learning how to believe that that's out there for me. In the process, I am not settling for less than curiosity. That's what I want you to put in your pocket and start dating with. Now, you might have one interesting match in a month,
Yeah.
one every other month. That's not a fucking problem.
Yeah. I think that's a mindset set shift that I need to make. Again, given that I was like 20 when I started on the apps and like,
Well, you were also searching because of another reason. You were searching to prove to
yeah,
yourself that you were
had
okay.
like the lowest of standards at that time too. Like,
Yeah.
so I
And
feel like the number game I get caught up in, and it's not reflective of the difference in what I'm looking for and who I am now as opposed to when I was 20. And I sometimes forget that.
yeah, you're looking for something different, more meaningful, deeper now. And you're working to detach your self worth from these apps because they're going to let you down every single day of the week.
Yeah.
So I think in terms of building up self-worth, building up self-confidence, that is about practicing more self-compassion. That's about allowing your anger. That's about going and doing joy building IRL outside of your house and talking to people and giving compliments and receiving compliments and having a good ass summer outside of your house and celebrating every win. No win is too small. So that's how you create a more fertile ground in your dating life for opportunities to emerge. Set more boundaries, ask deeper questions earlier. And in terms of the situationship pattern, I think that can be pretty easily cleaned up by asking, maybe you did this, you can tell me, but asking earlier on, hey, what's your hope for your dating life? And then they ask you back, and then you can say, if you're looking for a relationship, I'm looking for a relationship with the right person. That's why I'm dating. Like center your desire and don't worry so much about whether or not what you're saying is too intense. If you're coming from a place of, here's my truth, then you can't fuck it up with the right person.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
I feel more permission to be pickier, and I do, like, even though I knew you were gonna say that, like, I knew obviously you were gonna say that. I've read your book.
Yeah.
It does help to like actually have you say it to me versus
Great.
just knowing that you would
Yeah.
say that. And
Be
I do,
pickier.
and I also feel relief that I can like go on less dates because honestly, it is exhausting, and
Yeah.
it's like time out of my week.
I
So
know.
that does feel kind of relieving if it is like, no, it might only be like 3 dates a year, but I'm gonna be excited about them.
Yeah. And you can always go on fuck around dates. That's something that's always available to you. If you meet somebody and you're like, I'm feeling a vibe, but I don't know if we're long-term compatible, you can go on a fuck around date. If you want to hook up with somebody and that feels aligned for you, go on a fuck around date, hook up, whatever. Like it doesn't have to be so serious, and you can hold this lighter and with more joy. And the way that you get there is by allowing anger. I know it's so counterintuitive, but I think it's also about like allowing your anger is really about validating yourself as a human being. And that drawn out is about validating your own desires, validating your preferences, validating your wants and needs, and blessing and releasing anybody who is messing around, you know? So the wrong men for you are not doing their work. Guess what? The right men are. The right men are, you're dating only men, yes?
Yeah.
The right men are going to therapy. The right men are also sick of dating apps and excited to get off them for the right people. I know men in my life who have struggled in their dating lives and who are doing this work and who are asking me to coach them specifically. You know what I'm saying? So I know that they exist. I know that they're for the few, not for the many too. Sure, there's like fucked up shit that you have every right to be angry about in terms of the difference between how men and women are allowed to date and exist in the world. And you can hold that and hold that the right man for you might just possibly exist and you haven't met him yet.
Hmm.
I believe he does, but I'm just giving you a baby step thought so your brain can latch onto it and practice it. How is this feeling?
Good. I was just gonna say I feel a little like lighter. I
Yay!
angry, and I needed to.
Yeah! There you go. No problem. You get to feel that
Yeah.
and move through it when it feels accessible to do so.
Hmm.
Not negating it, but being like, okay. Like
Hmm.
when you have a big cry, you know? It's like, okay, I'm ready to move on from that moment and let's figure out what's next. That's what you're doing right now
Yeah.
by allowing it and
Hmm.
not minimizing. Great job. This is powerful stuff.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm excited.
I am too. So, your next steps are to do some anger work, anger processing. And your next steps are also to do kind of a cleanse in your messaging in your dating app. So if there are people who you're like, nothing comes from nothing, this is nothing, let's delete and move on, or bless and release and move on. If there are people that you are curious about, ask them out. Okay. See if they co create a date. Really, I think we didn't get into this like 2 dates canceled, I must be less desirable. Or they were never right for you and it sucks that they canceled.
Yeah, I don't really believe that. I think it was just like I was already having all of these big feelings around being back on the apps, and it was just like confirmatory in in the moment in a way that was sort of like surprise. Like I really don't believe it. I just
Yeah.
having all the feelings, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. So confirming my strategy, and go back to the book if you need it. But like 20 minutes a day, no notifications.
Yeah.
Ask an intentional question to open, maybe even before a date, asking what are you hoping to find in your dating life, just to vet for that if you want that. Focus on your joy building outside the house this summer, and you'll be good.
All right.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. This was so fun.
Thank
I really
you.
appreciate it.
That conversation was so powerful. I am so grateful, Calie, that you came on and shared a bit of your story and allowed yourself to be vulnerable, allowed yourself to be supported. I know that you are not alone and that you sharing your story probably inspired thousands of people to be honest about their emotions, to move through them with agency, and to believe their own desires in the process. If you want to get my book, Thank You More Please, A Feminist Guide to Breaking Dumb Dating Rules and Finding Love, you can go to datebrazen.com/book to get your hands on your copy and get an extra special bonus as well at datebrazen.com/book.